You are watching the Mapping Evaluation video podcast series produced by the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. The NSVRC serves as the nation's principal information and resource center regarding all aspects of sexual violence. In this podcast, we talk with Morgan Curtis, Deputy Director of the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, about incorporating evaluation approaches into sexual violence prevention work.
Obviously, there are many values to evaluation because you can do so many different types of evaluation. One of the things that I see as a primary value in evaluation is collecting data that allows us to continue to improve our work over time. So I know a lot of people have done evaluation for a long time that doesn't let them see continuous change over time, or that collects data that can't be used for continuous improvement over time. So I think that learning how to think about evaluation differently gives us an opportunity to see what's working in more discrete moments of our work so that we can make adjustments and be more effective over the course of working with even a given set of people. And I think that's really exciting about evaluation. The other thing about evaluation that I love and that I'm trying to share with people is that it's an opportunity to tell a particular kind of story about our work. I know that many of us are constantly telling stories about our work, and unfortunately the reality is a lot of the stories that we tell about our work don't have the kind of merit we need them to have for people unless they have data behind them. So learning how to look systematically at the way we collect data about what we see as success in our work allows us to tell a story that carries weight with various community members and funders, and also gives us an opportunity to contribute to the overall narrative of prevention work in a particular way. I think that one of the things that we've missed out on for not having collected good data from prevention workers over time is the ability to really tell a good story about the practice-based evidence that is coming out of the field, those anecdotal stories that we're able to collect. And if we can collect some of that stuff evaluatively, then we have a different leverage point over the overall narrative of prevention that's happening in this country. Well, one of the ways it plays out is that you almost can't come to something prevention related without having my face there talking about evaluation, and more so also intervention work as well. But I've had an opportunity over the last year and a half to sit down and talk with people about thinking about evaluation differently, and I think that what has really surprised me is the way that evaluation enthusiasm actually was contagious. I never would have seen that coming. I didn't ever see myself as somebody who was going to get super enthusiastic about evaluation, and I certainly, once I got there, didn't think that I would be able to bring a lot of people along with me, but people are super excited about being able to do their work better. They really are, and once you talk to them about evaluation in a way that they can understand that the data they collect can be meaningful to their own improvement and to helping them create deep change, they're super enthusiastic as well. So now I have people who are calling me with as much enthusiasm as I feel, saying, I think I've found this way to do a little bit more out-of-the-box evaluation with this program. Can I talk to you about it? And those are my big successful moments, is that being really passionate about evaluation has been kind of contagious, and that has also funneled through and helped us to develop a bit of a community of practice around it as well, where I have people who are, I think, who have been taught to think evaluatively really well, who are now thinking about things I'm not thinking about. And they're in the field and they're getting to call me and talk to me about what they're thinking and what they want to do. And so I'm able to learn from them, and then I'm able to share that out. And so that enthusiasm and passion has really helped us to create kind of a groundswell of excitement around evaluation. Get rid of outdated notions like failure. And I mean that in a couple of ways. One, I mean looking at evaluation as if it's something that we can't occasionally get wrong and learn how to do better, the process of evaluation itself. And I don't know that most of our organizations have a culture where that's kind of allowed, and for good reason. Evaluation has kind of become the high stakes testings of nonprofits, right? So we have a lot of fear around it, and I think organizations carry that fear because they see this as that thing that they have to prove their work by. So I think we have to understand that evaluation is a process that we can learn about and get better at, and that our organizations have to be set up to allow us to be agile and to make adjustments and movements within our own evaluation methods. And then I think that we have to also begin to find a way to not look at data that looks unsuccessful as just failed data. So looking at that as a point of learning and setting up our organizations to support that. So really taking that fear and punishment aspect out of those data. So understanding that data that don't look like success mean we need to change something, but making that a learning moment so that we can all come together in our organizations and talk about, okay, like this doesn't look like it's what we had hoped to do. What does that mean for us? What are we going to do about that? And I love this idea somebody gave to me, and I wish I could remember who it was, but I was in a workshop on how you can create cultures of an organization that support really good, robust evaluation. And the person said, as leaders in organizations, what we need to do is be transparently collecting, analyzing, and using data in front of our staff so that we're also setting that culture, so that whether those data look successful or not, we're saying, like, oh, here's this data that I collected. And that can be really simple things like doing a polling in a staff meeting about how the staff are thinking or feeling about something, and then making a change based on that. Like, it can be that simple, or it can be more complex, more robust data about the way that we're operating as leaders and managers. But to set a culture where people are seeing learning happen because of data and learning happen because of evaluation, as opposed to just seeing punishment and fear happening around evaluation, or even very little celebration, I think, when evaluation goes well, because we don't really understand a lot of the data that we're collecting. And it's like, oh, that number looks successful, good, I'm gonna send that to a funder. But using opportunities to celebrate when things seem to be going well, but also making sure those become learning opportunities. So, okay, so what went well about that? And making those conversations priority. And that obviously takes time, which I think is intimidating to people. We're all under-resourced. And so that's where I think it's really important for us also to look at evaluation as part of practice as opposed to an overlay onto practice, and to think about how doing this will improve our practice and how evaluation doesn't have to be seen as that extra thing. So we have to learn how to not view it over there. Be curious and let evaluation be an exercise in curiosity and creativity. Dare to not succeed in it so that you can create all kinds of wonderful and amazing things with it, and look at it as I just said this, but look at it as part of what you're doing as opposed to an overlay. Think about ways that evaluation can be used to further deep change in a community as opposed to just measure that change.
For more information on the NSVRC, please go to www.nsvrc.org or call toll-free at 877-739-3895. The NSVRC was founded by the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape and is funded in large part by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.